Hi, and welcome back. Thanks for stopping at my channel today. I am going to do a quick and easy mixed media piece. I have this piece of art that I got at Goodwill, I believe, and I think the back says $2.99, and I think I had it on a half price sale. So $1.50. What a steal. We're going to recreate on this pressed board and get rid of this bathtub with flowers in it. We're just going to cover that up with some of my paper, my vintage paper. We're going to use some matte medium, give it a good coat, and get started on this really quick and easy fall piece. My inspiration was just the words of give thanks. I wanted to give thanks for what we can this crazy, crazy time of year. I was pointing to the date on this piece of vintage paper. It said March 15th, 1961. Pretty darn cool because I was just thinking of my brother who has passed away a few years back, and his birthday was is March 15th. So that's kind of cool how things work out like that. You pick a piece of paper out of hundreds of pieces of paper in my stash, and there is his birth date. So that kind of gives me a sense that there is something going on, life after this, where he's saying hi to me or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. That's just my kind of crazy thinking. But I am just going to continue on with the piece, putting this down. I have a ton of matte medium down on this piece, and I'm going to try not to waste any of it. I'm putting matte medium underneath the vintage paper and then again over the top as we usually do. I'm hoping that you enjoy this piece and be sure that you subscribe to my channel. And let's get started.
I'm going to do a voiceover and make it even quicker and easier for me. If you may have noticed, if you are a subscriber to my channel and you have been wondering where was my Tuesday project, I'm moving my day for mixed media art slash uh, mixed media art to Thursdays. I'm hoping that this may give me just a few more days to create. I'm finding that I am just a little busy at the beginning of the week. So I'm hoping that this will work out a little bit, and I hope that doesn't make anyone upset. So I'm changing my mixed media projects to Thursday instead of Tuesday. I'm hoping that that will work out. Okay, so I got a really good coat on there, and you can see I do have some extra hanging out on there, and that is because we're going to put down a napkin. Look at this beautiful napkin that I have here. It's got all four corners. The corner that I want to use is this one here, but I want it to be in the other corner. I know, I'm just making everything difficult. So go ahead, and I'm pulling the fly apart, just like that. And then I am looking through here to see if I can actually get that to go down on the piece backwards. I'm just going to cut it out for a little bit of manageability standpoint, trying not to get any water on it. So here is the piece on the other side. I am going to see if I can get that to work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside, hoping that this doesn't waste my matte medium that I have on my brush here. I'm just going to wrap it in my damp towel. Keep my brush moist there. And I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to go around all of this the best that I can. I know a lot of times I use a damp brush, but to keep this quick and easy, I'm just going to do it like that. I really like this black and white border on here, so I'm going to keep that in mind as we're creating here. I'll be right back. I'm just going to cut this out so that we can keep our time going quickly. Be right back. Okay, so here's how my piece is cut out. I did it really quickly, and you can see how some of this border on this border on the board is showing through. So I'm going to put a layer of gesso down also, and my matte medium is a little bit wet, but that's all right. We're going to go ahead and put this right over the top. I'm going to use a different brush, keep my matte medium brush for my matte medium, and just go ahead and push that writing back. And as it is drying or as I am working with this, I may wipe a little bit of the gesso off because I do want it to show through a little bit. You know, you have that you put down. Some things you do cover up, but right now I just want a little bit of it to show through. And then I'm going to have to give it a little bit of a dry before I go ahead and put my napkin down. So here's how it's looking. Pretty white, isn't it? And then I'm thinking right now about that kind of plaid border. I'm going to set this aside because I'm guessing I'll uh, mess it up. And then I did cut off a little bit of these berries, and I'm setting it on my desk because I really like that element around this piece, but there was no way I was going to be able to get those little berries. So I just set it there because maybe I can pull that back in with my charcoal pencil, or maybe with just a little bit of marker or something. So here I'm just gonna give it a few wipes. I don't want it really streaky. Maybe this way. I think this way. So you can see some of the writing through, but yet it did push back some of that was showing through from the board. I'm going to give this a real quick dry, and then I'm going to dig through my stencils and see if I have anything that would do that plaid. So let me do that while this is drying, and I will be right back with you. Okay, all dry here. Found this stencil. I'm guessing it's called plaid, but I'll look it up. It's by Tim Holtz, and I thought that would be a cool border. I'm just going to use like these 2 rows of it, and in my mind I'm remembering that I'm going to put this down here. So I will need just a little bit peeking through here on the side, and then up to the top and over. I'm going to just use a little pen here, make some marks, and I will go ahead. I'm going to use my archival ink, and I'm going to use my makeup brush that I use for stenciling, and we'll see how this goes. I think stenciling is really fun to watch, so I'm going to leave this part in the video for you. And like I said, we just need this part here. Let's see what happens here. I think this would be a pretty cool border though. Oh yeah, liking it already. Okay, so I'm going to flip this upside down. And I'm going to do the other side just for ease. And like I said, I'm using my archival ink, and the color I am using is jet black. I use this a lot, and it's about time to get my re-inkers out again. I was at a let's see, I was at a camp this last weekend. We had lots of social distancing, of course. We had only about 25 people, and we usually have 65 people. It was put on by Let's Create in Wisconsin Rapids. Oh yeah, that's neat. And everybody worked on their own projects. We had a couple of workshops that people were doing, things of that nature. So it was great fun. Yeah, you just try to do what you can these days. I was talking with with my husband the other day, and there's the rumor that this uh, vaccine is coming out for the virus, and I just said, oh gosh, wouldn't everybody just be so happy? Maybe less people would be crabby. Sometimes people are crabby right now, and it's just like you have to just let them be crabby, because plenty of people got plenty of things to crab about. So I just go with it. All right, so I'm going to set that aside, kind of clean up my area a little bit. And I'm just going to give this a real quick dry, because I don't want it to smear. And we're going to put that focal point of those pumpkins on. And we're going to see where we're at with that. I'm feeling that the background's going to need a little texture or something. But let's see what happens after I give this a real quick dry. Just don't want it to smear. And archival ink dries really, really fast. Okay, so now I remember I was going to turn it over to this side, and hopefully as I do that, we will be able to see through and what to do. So I'm using just a bit of my gel medium. Put some down here. And I'm going to very carefully do this. That was from my gesso. And once you put it down, you kind of got to commit. You can't just be moving it around. Remember, this is a napkin, so it's very fragile. Okay. Ta-da. We're going to put that over the top, and we're going to see if it works. Looks like it's working. Everything's going to be a little bit muted, of course, because we're working on the opposite side of this napkin. But for me, I don't know why, I just had to have it over in this corner. You want to make it a little bit easier? You put it in the other corner. This napkin is just something I got at, I think, even at the dollar store. So this is a very inexpensive project. See, I just kind of got a little crazy there. And I almost ripped my leaf off. It's all right. We could draw it back in with pencil. Okay, I'm just giving it a final coat here, and then I'm going to try and leave it be, because you can mess with it too much. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I like it. I like it a lot. And I like that border on there, huh? Very cool. Um, this up here is a little too, um, the text is standing out a little bit too much, so I'm going to use my gesso, and I'm going to add a little bit more to the back there, to the background. Here it is, just a little. Maybe if some will come out, huh? This is my matte medium brush. I like that better. And I'm kind of going over the little bit of the edge of the border. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to give this a dry. Looking cute. Here's what we're looking at. And you see anything wrong up here? I forgot to put the rest of the stencil on there, so I am going back. And I think I'll keep the top one maybe just a little thinner because I still have my sentiment to go on there. So I will go ahead and do that. Maybe go right up to this edge. Yeah, I was looking at it and I'm like, something's wrong. Something's wrong here. So, quick and easy fix. Now, I went on my computer and I printed off my sentiment, and I really wanted it to say, give thanks. Because, like I was saying, some people are getting kind of crabby. It's been a long time. We've been away from family members, people that we love, and all kinds of crazy things like that. So people are getting crabby, but we got to remember to give thanks for what we have. You know, it may not seem like a lot, but we have more than some people always. So I'm going to leave that little edge on there and we'll take care of it at the end. But here's what I came up with. Give thanks. I want it right up in that corner, and this is still a little too black and white for me. I need to push that back into the back there. So I maybe just give it a real good coat with my finger here, do a little finger painting to push it back, because it's just not doing it for me. My gesso is really thick. I like thick gesso. I would rather have a thick one than a thin one. I do have some that was real thin in my cupboard and I never use it for that reason. It's just too thin. And if you have a thick one, obviously you can always thin it down with water. There. Better? Better. Okay, giving a wipe to my hands. I need to dry this a little bit. And then what we're going to do is use some carbon paper underneath here. I think I'm going to give the whole background my wash. with my burnt umber and water. I'm going to give this a dry. Come back. We'll give it the wash. We're going to give it another dry. We're going to put our sentiment down. We're going to enhance all of these pumpkins, get some color on there and some shading. Of course, blacken the edge. Excuse me, one more time. And I think this is going to be a cute little piece. So to the drying board I go, okay? All dry. I'm using a emery board going around all the sides to get off the excess paper that's hanging off. So I did 3 sides and I thought I would show you. It's just that simple. I just rub on it to get that excess paper off of there. Keep it out of our work area. Okay, I put down my burnt umber on my little palette here. I just used some covers. This one was from a candle, and I added water to it, and I'm making just a thinner brown paint is all it is. I'm going to put down a little paper towel. How about using our backside of our napkin that we did? That was the piece we pulled off. We're going to give it our brown wash, which I love. You don't have to do this step. I just feel that it pulls it all together for me. And it gives it a more vintage old look instead of that stark bright white. I'm just giving it all a coat. Getting everything. Real easy. I'm going to get out my spray bottle before that dries. And bam. Just that quick and easy. I'm going to use the water. Getting the edges. Dabbing it off. Letting it run. And maybe give that just a little spread here. And you keep doing it until you get it the way you like it. People say, well, mine never looks like yours. Well, it wouldn't, because this is my piece and yours is going to have your own techniques to it. I like it like this. I'm going to let it go. Let it alone. I kind of want a little more brown in the bottom corner here. That's just how I like it. Everybody's different. Everybody holds their brush different. Everybody adds paint different. Everybody's going to shade different. Some people like shading. I do. Some people don't. I know a lot of people say, oh, I just don't like it. No, I really like those strips there. See if I can get it to go on the other side too. I like it. So there we go. Quick, quick, quick and easy is what I need to do this week. So far it's turned out real cool. We're going to come back with some copy paper, put our sentiment down after I dry. We're going to do the shading, add in some color to the pumpkins and the green, and we're just going to do it real simple with a few little brushes. I'm going to dry and I will be back. think it's looking really cute. Now for the fun part, I'm just going to grab some colors of paint and we're going to do a little bit of painting with a small brush, just like this. I've got some orange, some greens, new little palette, a little bit of gold color, I think. And we'll see what happens here. So I'm just going to put some paint down on my palette. Of course, my trusty orange that I love. Some gold that I use all the time. I think sometimes when you like a certain color palette, especially for the season, you just go back to it again and again. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. And we just remember that we're going to use some charcoal pencil, so we can always darken those colors, and we can use some gesso and lighten the colors too. So I'm just doing some real basic color here and adding in what I think it needs. I'm liking how that's looking already. And we'll put the sentiment in. Cute, huh? Really cute. This one's got some highlights up on the top. So I'll add a little bit of that goldish color. And I can see that pumpkin stem there, so I'm going to leave that. Maybe I'll get you a little bit closer. Yeah. So you can get the idea of what I'm doing. And you could even just use your finger and do a little bit of finger painting. Now this one is kind of a white and gray pumpkin, so I'm going to just add a little color here to these leaves. Not too much. Rinse out my brush. Add a little bit of my greens in. And we will go to town with our charcoal pencil. Green leaf up here. Little down here. Some orange here. And this will be darker down here. I'm going to get a little bit of gray if I can find some. For this bottom pumpkin. And they have a little bit of a green tint to them. I'm trying not to cover up the areas that are the indentations of the pumpkins because I'm using that as a guide. And I just need one little dot of my gesso. Tiny little dot. Just to bring in some of that white. I like those pumpkins that are the white and greenish colored ones. I see that it has a little bit of a yellow highlight to it. And put a little tiny bit of that green back in. Maybe a little too much. Cute. Really cute. And if you want to change the shape of some of those leaves, go for it. These are circle ones up here. This one's brown. This one's real yellow. I like it. A little bit up here. And there were some like sticks up here, so I'm just going to add those in. And just a little bit of this leave in here. Yes. Okay. I'll keep my paint on my palette here because we may need it. I'm going to put this in. And what I'm going to do with that is use a tool that is called a dry embossing tool. It has like a little ball on the end. Now you could just use a pen or even the back of a brush. And we're going to use a bit of carbon paper. This is what carbon paper is, graphite paper. Just going to dig out a little piece. If I can figure out how I opened it. Put that down. Stand up for this. And this is where I want it. You put it there. I'm going to use the bigger end. I find myself holding my breath when I do this. I don't know why. Let's see if it's even getting an impression. It is. It's not real dark, so I'm going to go over it a little bit more just so I can see it, because we're going to use a black marker and put that in. I can see, give, and then thanks. And then I'll keep this little piece of paper as my guide when I am adding back the dark black. Some people can letter like that. Now I can't. I haven't practiced it enough. I'm sorry my phone is dinging like that, my computer. We have someone that has a little roof leak problem and my husband is trying to help them. Let's see if we can see it. I can definitely see it. Can you see it? Okay, so we've got that. I set that aside. I'm going to get out my charcoal pencil and do a little bit on there. I am using a 6B extra soft, and let's watch how this just makes it pop. Adding in the depth here. And I'm going to smudge it like that with my finger. Cool, huh? This is going to be the bottom of the pumpkin, so it's going to be dark down here. I'm going to finish around that. And this white one. This is the pumpkin stem. Add that in. I'm going to darken it up because it would be dark. Don't forget that little piece of the pumpkin. Get this one up here on the top. Put that leaf in. The other pumpkin stem. There's a leaf down here in the bottom. Not going to get too crazy about that because we're going to put that black edge in and it's going to go all the way around. I'm going to turn my piece to finish my shading here. the other pumpkin stem. I'm going to get my towel a little bit wet. This sleeve needs a little help. Stem. I love these curly cues that go on pumpkins. So I'm drawing that in, bringing it back. Cute. A little bit over here. I can see it. Can you? This one here. Okay, we can always add in some more color because we still have our paint here. I'm going to work on this, and let's see what I'm going to use for my marker of choice. I got some new ones, and my desk is a little disarrayed because, like I said, I was gone, but I have some new ones from Jane Davenport, and it is a paint marker, and I'm really liking them. So here's my piece that I'm going to look at. I'm going to back out my camera here a little bit. I'm trying to do it without a mouse, and it's a little difficult for me. So this goes like this, around. And then I'm just gonna thicken up this line, because you can see on here it's a little bit thicker. And we're gonna smooth everything out. Make sure we get that tilde on the eye. This line is a little bit thicker. This line's a little bit thicker. I like how that's looking. I'm gonna go right onto this one. And you want to make sure that your piece here is very dry so that you're not wrecking your markers, because if it's wet, you'll wreck them. Yay! I like that. I kind of like how it goes into that leaf there too. Yeah, I'm really liking these markers. I will try and link them below. You can pick them up and see what you think. There. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Now down here is a leaf, and I am thinking if I can find my stencil, I'm going to stencil that back in there if I can line it up correctly. And I'm going to be very careful so I don't mess everything up now. I'm not even putting any more ink on my brush. I'm just gonna get it in there to go towards that pumpkin. And you see how that worked? I'm gonna put a black edge around it, so I'm not too worried about that. So I'm gonna go back in and do some more shading, and I will be back, but there's probably I would say maybe about 10 or 15 minutes more of shading, and sometimes that makes the video really long, so I will move my camera in a bit. I will finish this up so you can see the finished product. We'll come back in and we'll do this black edge, and we will do probably some highlights on top of the pumpkins. I may get out my pan pastels because you know how much I love to use those, and we'll go from there, okay? And yeah, here we are. I like it. Remember this little piece of tissue with those dots? I added them here. I'm letting them dry, and then I'll put the little branches in. I think those are cute. Adds a little accent. So I got my three favorite colors of pan pastel: burnt sienna, orange, and bright yellow green, and my applicators. And we're just going to add a little bit. I think that the pan pastels on here just add so much, and without hardly any effort. So that's my thing. I like to do it. And I'm barely touching because they're very pigmented. You can see how far a little tiny bit goes. I added a little bit to that pumpkin there, and I'm going to come back and add some green back in. I've got a little bit of magenta on there, and I don't like that, so I'm just changing my sponge applicator here. Put a little up in these leaves. Now, something I didn't show you is that I did go around some of the edges with my Dewent Inktense Bark Color watercolor pencil. It writes so smooth, and then I kind of went underneath here and I used a brush and I just pulled the brown down a little bit. It just really, really pulled it all together. I like how smooth and creamy it is, and you can really put in some detail if you have a nice sharp tip on your pencil. And I really like how that gives some great detail. So it it allowed me to get some nice tips on the leaves. And I could go and go and go and go and go on these, but my videos would probably be like 3 hours long. So yeah, you have to know when to quit, right? um, but I so like to show you the different products and what you could do with just this napkin. Remember how we started? We started with this image, and this is how it turned out. So I need to stop. I'm going to semi-clean up my desk here. We're going to do the black edge. I'm using a black gelato, and I've been saying this for maybe 24 mixed media pieces. I'm using it because it's in my stash and I want to use it up. And it's still hanging in there. So if you need something that's going to last a really long time, this black double scoop gelato is your ticket. I'm getting the edges real good with my finger, being careful not to smudge and smear because this stuff is, water soluble. It's chalk on top of our piece here, and we don't want to smudge all of our hard work that we've done. So I will give you some pictures at the end, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Check out my Pinterest and my other social media links, and be sure to check out our Facebook group, Everything Paper and Glue, if you want to be part of that community. All right. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.